morning everyone. So in this video lecture we're going to talk about sets, and this is also another requested video, and I need to cover sets and operations on sets in this video, but because I'm running short of time, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to cover operations in this video. We'll talk about operators associated with sets in next video, in another video. But in this video, I like to cover sets, and I will also explain the difference between set operator, like the set method, constructor, and then a different way of creating a set, okay? Because they are not the same. So let's first talk about what a set is, okay? So in simple words, if I have to say, set is like a set of items, okay? Like you create a cluster of items or a group of items, right? But there are a few things. It is again a data structure in Python, right? And we treat everything as an object in Python, as I told you in previous lectures as well. So set, when you create a set, it is sort of a group, and it is first of all unordered. Okay, unordered meaning there is no specific order. For example, when you create a list, there is a specific order. So whenever you will have an order in any like if you see it this way, list is also collection of items, right? It is like a group of items. But in case of list, if you suppose this is a list, right? So this is again, what is this? Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is group of numbers or group of items, right? And we are talking about list here. So suppose this is a list and this is ordered. What I mean by that is that I can access a specific element using index, right? So I know if I write, if let's say this list has name A, so I can easily, if I want to access a specific element, I can use the index of it. So I can say A1 and that specific element will be picked, right? This is not the case in set. When you create a set, the items are not ordered. Okay, it is a collection of groups, but you will not know in which order the items are present. Okay, and if you have like a set of 20 or 30 items and you try to print it over and over on the screen, check the order. Every time you try to print it, it's going to be different. Maybe in first or second, when you run it for the first or second time, or maybe even third time, items are going to be in a same order, but most of the times it's going to be in a different order for every run. So this is what you need to remember, that its items are unordered. Items of a set are unordered. Also, it is a mutable. It is mutable. Okay, it is a mutable data type, right? And it is mutable, but its elements are immutable. Mutable meaning you can change it, but you can't change its elements. Okay, for example, in like I gave you the example, right? If you have a list, right? So suppose the name of list is 1, name of list is A, and you access the element of list at position 1. So you will write A1, okay, and then you will get some item. Now you can replace it, okay? If you write A1 equals to maybe 56, earlier maybe it was 71 or something, and if you put it this way, you can actually change the elements, right? So elements are mutable in that sense. But when you're using sets, elements are immutable. Why? First of all, you can't access them directly, right? And yes, they are unordered, okay, and they are immutable. But the set is mutable. Mutable meaning you can change the length of the set. You can add more items. You can delete items. And another thing you should remember is that a set will not tolerate any duplicates. Okay, so it does not allow any duplicate values. So if you enter, let's say, value 2 in a set, it's going to discard the second value. Okay, if 2 is already present in the set, it's going to discard the second time you enter the same value. Okay, these are some of the properties of sets, right? And because it is unordered, it is also unindexed. So you can't use an index to fetch the items of a set. Okay, and we'll talk about all these things in next video lecture. In this lecture, I'm only going to give you this brief introduction about set. And then there are two ways of creating a set. One is using set constructor. Okay, you can use this constructor and you can create a set. Another method of doing it is you can use a variable, let's say a, and then you can use curly brackets, and then you can start putting in the elements. Okay, but these two methods are very different. Okay, how they are different, let's see. So first of all, I told you that you can use a set. You can use a set method to create a set. So if you're using a set method, there are a few restrictions. Okay, there are a few things that you can't do with a set constructor. So we'll talk about that first. So if you're using a set constructor and you want to create a set, you cannot, like, set constructor only accepts one iterable as an argument. Okay, and set can have values of different data types, but they should be, like, there is another restriction, but specifically when you're using set constructor, the restriction is that first of all it will only accept one iterable as an argument. Okay, otherwise it will show you an error, right? And the iterable that it accepts cannot be a list or a dictionary, etc. Okay, and why is that? It is because it will only accept hashable objects. Okay, it will only accept what? Hashable objects. Now, what are hashable objects? We talked about it in one of the previous lectures as well. Hashable objects are those objects, those are immutable. Okay, these are immutable objects. And if you look at lists and dictionaries, these are not hashable because they are mutable. List and dictionaries are mutable, and that's why they are not hashable. Okay, hashable object will be immutable. So list, when you're creating a set, it will not accept list or dictionary. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. So this is what it is, and let me create a set first. So when you're using, like, first you have to create a set here. So you will have this element, this variable a. Okay, this denotes a set, and then you're using set method or set constructor, and inside this you have to pass an iterable. So what are the possible iterables? We can have a tuple, right? And obviously, because you can, like I told you, that set can accept different data types, values of different data types with a few restrictions, right? So you can have a tuple, and inside the tuple you can provide other values. So we have, let's say, a string and an integer. Okay, we'll have a comma here. So if you check the type of A, it's going to be a set, and you can print the value of a set, right? So this is, you should remember. Okay, while using set constructor, if you're specifically using constructor, you can use a tuple. It will accept an iterable, right? So that iterable can be a tuple. You can use a tuple to include multiple data types inside it. okay, because tuple can have them. And in a way, set is going to accept only one iterable, so that can be a tuple. And also tuples can be, this is just an additional information that they can be created without parentheses, but because when there are a lot of values, you have to specifically use them. So just remember that you can have a tuple inside set constructor. And you should also remember that tuple will not have unhashable types, even in this case, like a list. Okay, so that. Now this may sound a little confusing, so let's move on to the simplest way of creating a set, which is by the use of curly bracket. Okay, so every time you write p equals to curly bracket and you are not using the notations of dictionary, that is key value notation, you are creating a set. So using this, I can create a set of integers. So type of b, if I check, is a set, and you can print the values. Okay, and like I said, it can have values of different types. So I can have an integer, I can have a string, then I can also have a tuple and any boolean value, you know, I can have it all, right? And I want you to also understand that whenever you are creating a set, let's say I have, now 6 is twice here, okay? But when you will print the value, 6 will be present only once in the set. So duplicates are not allowed. And values seem ordered, but I mean, if you run it a few more times, it's not going to be. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you that here, but let's see. Yeah, see, this is the order 6389289. This is the order in which I entered the values in the set. But when I try to print the values of set, it is 23645. Now this is 645. This was the last value, but it is third here, right? Similarly, 23, order was 63. It is picking 23. So set is unordered. Okay. Yeah, these are a few things that you need to remember about sets, that they are unordered, unindexed, mutable, but their elements are immutable. Duplicates are not allowed. I already showed you. There are two ways of creating a set. You can use curly brackets or you can use set constructor. If you're using curly brackets, you can have as many data types as you want, but you need to remember that set will not have a list. It will also not have a dictionary. If you try creating a set using dictionary or a list, you will see an error. And this is because it only uses hashable objects, and dictionaries and lists, they are not hashable because they are mutable, and immutable objects are hashable only. Okay, so you need to remember that. And if you're using set constructor, if you're trying to create a set using set constructor, you can, first thing you need to remember is it will accept only one iterable. And let me show you what I mean by that too. So what I mean by that is, if I say 1, 2, 3, I'm going to get an error, and it says set expected at most one argument, but it got 3 because set operator, set constructor, like I told you, it will accept only one iterable. Okay, so when you're using set constructor, you have to have an iterable. Okay, and the best way of doing that, now you will say that, but I want to have all these values, right? And I want to have all these values. I want to have these values in the set, but I want to create a set using set constructor. Well, you're more than welcome to do that. But you have to understand that these are how many arguments. Like if I have to look at it, from a set's perspective, this is how many arguments? 4 arguments. But set can only accept one argument, and that too has to be an iterable, right? So the best way to do that is create a tuple of these items, these elements, because tuples can have multiple data types. So you can create one tuple that will be an iterable. You can use all these items inside the tuple and use that tuple as an iterable as an argument to the set constructor, and you can have that. This is what I did here also, right? I wanted to give these two values, but if I provide these two values directly, this will be 2 arguments, and set constructor will accept only 1 argument. So what I did was I create a tuple, okay, and inside the tuple I provide these 2 values, and now we can have a set with these 2 values, right? Because most of the times students ask why we have this concept of double parenthesis. Why do we use these double round brackets while using set constructor in the process of creating a set? So this is the reason why we do that. This is your tuple, and I explained the reason why you use it, right? So this is really important because I came across a lot of questions regarding this. So I hope it's clear now. It is clear why we use that constructor in a specific way, and the other way of creating a set, which is by the use of curly brackets. So this is it for today's video lecture. If you have any doubts, feel free to post them in the comments below, or you can also send me an email. And I'll see you in the next video lecture with another topic. Till then, take care.